Hello and welcome to Flow Consultancy's instructional video on ancillary equipment. This video will walk you through the requirements of valves, pumps and compressors within a process system, along with how to identify them and how they work.
We're going to begin by talking about P&ID diagrams, which are piping and instrumentation diagrams. In the process industry, P&IDs are used to operate the process system as they demonstrate the physical sequence of piping and equipment in the system. Processes require a P&ID for the use of a maintenance person, operator or engineer, as they are the first place to look when something goes wrong and a very valuable document to review when replacing or shutting down a piece of equipment. Items that are typically found in a P&ID are instrumentation such as reactive columns, ancillary equipment which includes pumps and compressors, and valves. From the P&ID on the screen, I'm sure you can see it's quite daunting to look at as they involve various symbols to represent different components. They can be easily understood by looking at smaller sections of the diagram and corresponding labels. To understand different symbols and labels, you can refer to a lead sheet which shows each icon and what they represent, which makes P&IDs much easier to read. For example, in this lead sheet, you can see the respective symbols for pump and compressor, and if we go back to the P&ID, you can identify pumps and compressors much easier.
The use of valves, pumps and compressors are essential in the regulation of a process as they control the flow of fluids in the system. There are various types of valves such as butterfly, globe, gate and pinch, which each have specific uses. For example, butterfly and globe are typically used to control flow rate because they provide high precision and control. Gate is typically used as a shutoff valve which is either open or closed. Pinch is usually used for slurries or granular material. Furthermore, the main types of pumps and compressors are dynamic and positive displacement. Dynamic pumps include axial and centrifugal types. Positive displacement includes gear and piston types.
We will be taking a closer look at a pneumatic control valve. The main driving hardware of this valve is the pneumatic actuator. The actuator is responsible for regulating flow of liquid in the pipe. The actuator lowers and raises the connected drive rod. It does so using compression springs, which sit between the seating cap and the diaphragm, tightening and relaxing depending on the pressure of air between the diaphragm and the cover of the actuator. A set of screws are used to tighten the seating cap to the cover, ensuring improved build quality and no gaps for air to leak from the pressurized space. A connection between this assembled pneumatic actuator and the valve is made by connecting the drive rod to the plug rod using a coupling nut, structurally held together by the valve bonnet. A calibrator is used to set the operating angle of the drive rod. The plug rod connects to a plug within the valve which lowers and raises, blocking fluid flow when lowered and allowing fluid flow when raised. The plug is inserted into a seat within the valve. The seat can become contaminated if not maintained properly, resulting in leakage from the valve.
Compressors increase the pressure of a gas by reducing its volume. A piston, or in other words, a reciprocating compressor, uses pistons controlled by a crankshaft to deliver the gas at high pressure. The piston is the component that compresses air. In between the piston and cylinder walls, this component is usually covered with piston rings. As the piston moves up and down, the piston rings come in contact with the walls of the cylinder. A connecting rod is the part of a piston engine that connects the piston to the crankshaft, and it gives the crankshaft its rotary motion. The crankshaft rotates around the frame axis and drives the connecting rod and piston and is connected to the flywheel, which reduces the compressor vibration. The gas that is to be compressed is contained in the cylinder. Each operating end of a compressor cylinder must have two sets of valves. The set of inlet or suction valves admits gas into the cylinder, and the set of discharge valves is used to evacuate compressed gas from the cylinder.
Thank you for watching.